For we were at an executive session, so I'll call the meeting to order, and please join me in a flag salute and pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I suspect we need to do a roll call.
Here.
Here. The Ridgewood Board of Education has been meeting in executive session pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12. The minutes of this meeting will be released when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, advance notice has been given to the Star Ledger, the Record, and the clerk of the Village of Ridgewood. In addition, notices were posted in the office of the board secretary and in all school buildings. So welcome, everyone. We've got a bittersweet presentations tonight when we recognize some of our staff that's retiring. We'll also have our public hearing on the 25-26 budget tonight. So it's a big meeting. Okay. So Dr. Schwartz, would you like to introduce our presentation?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone, again, and thank you so much for your patience. We're so sorry to keep everybody waiting for so long. We had some urgent matters to discuss in an executive session, but we have, again, bittersweet reasons for being here tonight. Certainly sweet because we have not only some folks that we want to honor, but we also have so many supporters coming out to be here to honor retirees who have put in such an awesome amount of service to our school district. So for starters, we're going to invite up our representatives from George Washington Middle School, who are here to honor Carol Pettit for her 23 years of service as a math teacher in our schools.
Okay, thank you. So Miss Carol Pettit is set to retire on October 1st, 2025, after 25 years of teaching for Ridgewood Public Schools. Education is Carol's second career after a career in business and raising her two little boys, Evan and Corey. Evan's over there. She began her Ridgewood journey as a paraprofessional at Hawes before taking a maternity leave position teaching third grade. Carol then taught fifth grade for 16 years at Willard Elementary. Before joining the staff at GW as a sixth grade math teacher for the last 7 years. GW has been incredibly lucky to have Miss Pettit. Her students absolutely adore her. In fact, some were very angry when they heard this news that you were retiring. I actually had a group of students approach me in the cafeteria asking if I could talk you out of retirement, but I let them know you're grandma now and it's time to move along, but they really, really care about you. And it's such a testament to the environment that you've created in that classroom. Some of her students use the following words when describing you: funny, calm, a great teacher, caring, supportive, so nice, and my favorite teacher. Ms. Pettit's colleagues agree. Carol is a wonderful teammate. She's an amazing teacher, and her students adore her. Carol is someone who you can always count on and will be greatly missed. She consistently goes out of her way to help others, always bringing a positive outlook to any situation. Carol loves teaching middle school math, but she genuinely cares about all of her students. She takes time to learn more about each and every one. And she even chaperones ski club during the winter and even actually skis with the kids. On a personal note, I've learned a great deal from you, Carol. Her husband, Bill, passed away suddenly on September 19th, 2020. Carol's strength, courage, and resiliency during that time when I was an AP down there, and still to this day has been very inspiring to me. Your grace and selflessness, even in the face of adversity and tragedy, is something I'll always remember about you. You definitely taught more than just your kids. So now it's time to be grandma to Leah, William, Colson, and we got grandchild number 4 on the way in July. Carol will also be celebrating her retirement with her brother and friends on a trip to Norway to visit where her grandparents grew up. So congratulations, Carol, on your well-deserved retirement. You have left a lasting legacy. You said she's a math teacher, so she doesn't like to talk much.
Just want to say thank you so much to everyone here. Ridgewood has been a wonderful district to work in all these years. And every school I've been at, from Hawes to Willard to GW, one is just as good as the other. And of course, ending at GW has been just such a great way to end my career here. All my colleagues are like family to me, and my administrators are so supportive, and the parents in this district have always been there for us. And so I thank you all very much, and look forward to a great end of the year.
And if everyone could just stick around, what we'll do is we'll do some pictures at the end. We'll go through all of our retirees, but if you could all stay, we'd love to get a picture of you individually and also all together. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Like the families to be in the pictures too, so you get that.
All right, next I'm gonna invite up our district technology team. For starters, we're gonna recognize our database systems administrator, Georgia Abrunzo, for her 18 years of service.
It is with bittersweet emotions that I want to acknowledge Georgia's 18 years of service to the district. Georgia began her work in the district in 2007 as a data coordinator at the Ridgewood High School. That was a newly created position at the time, and her responsibilities were multifaceted, including building school master schedules, scheduling all the students, producing student report cards, transcripts, supporting administration and staff with report, as well as purchasing and budget management, among other things. Georgia quickly built strong relationships with many colleagues and earned a reputation as one of the most knowledgeable, capable, kind, friendly, and enjoyable people to work with. And I can personally attest to this, as I was hired as Georgia's replacement in 2010 when she moved to the district-wide database administrator position. It was both a challenge to live up to her reputation at the high school, but also a privilege to have her as a mentor and a friend ever since. Georgia continued to excel in her role in the district position and positively impacting even more people. Our district has benefited greatly from her work. She has been invaluable in developing numerous district operating procedures, maintaining the safety, integrity, and accuracy of student data, performance and operations of student information system, integrations between multiple systems, data analytics, design and implementation of complex projects and migrations, and so much more. But most importantly, she approaches all her work with dedication, treats everyone with respect and kindness, consistently going above and beyond to help anyone in need. Georgia's expertise is widely recognized among her colleagues, who consistently seek her assistance with data projects and innovative, sometimes even crazy ideas, confident in her ability to find solutions. However, her problem-solving skills are not the attribute that we will miss the most. We will miss Georgia's energy, infectious laugh, her movie references and quotes from shows like Seinfeld, I Love Lucy, Moonstruck, just to name a few. And I will personally miss enjoying the cup of coffee with her before diving into discussions about the next issue or idea. So on behalf of our entire department and the district, thank you, Georgia. Enjoy your retirement. It has been fun.
Georgia, would you like to say something?
Actually, I'm really bad at this, so pardon my crib notes here, but anyway, it's just real short. I just want to thank the board and the administration for the opportunity to having worked here for the past 18 years. It's really been an incredible journey. You're all like family to me, beginning with the high school. Thank Jeff Nias and everybody there, and ending with this incredible, talented IT department. I mean, the talent, yes, exactly. The talent is incredible. And under your leadership, Serhi, working together with you really has been the highlight of my professional career. I've learned so much from you, and we've developed great bond, friendship, and I will take that with me always. I'm grateful. I've learned so much. And thank you to everybody in IT, especially to my partner, Gabrielle, who's retiring also. And I'm blessed to know so many other inspiring, caring, and dedicated people. I'll treasure the friendships and fond memories that were made. And I sincerely hope that my contributions have made a difference in achieving Ridgewood's tradition of excellence. And I wish the board and administration many years of continued success.
Thank you so much, Georgia. And again, please stick around. And next, we wanted to invite up for her 13 years of service, Assistant Database Systems Administrator at the district level, Gabrielle DeAndrea.
Not often you losing two friends to retirement at the same time. So it is, again, with a great pleasure and a little sadness that I want to acknowledge Gabrielle DeAndreas for her 13 years of dedicated service to the districts. Gabby's connection to Ridgewood Public Schools runs deep. As a town resident and a parent of Ridgewood graduates, she was involved in the district long before her employment. And her family, her husband, her son, and his wife joining her today to congratulate her on her retirement. In 2012, Gabby began as the administrative assistant, primarily to the guidance department at George Washington Middle School, where she supported students, guidance counselors, and parents while maintaining student demographic data as the school registrar. And her work consistently demonstrated dedication, attention to detail, and a commitment to helping others. That was one of the reasons why in 2019, Gabby transitioned to the IT department when the position of assistant database administrator opened. And she quickly became a valued team member and a friend. And that was right before the pandemic, so that you can imagine her experience getting onto the job. Her knowledge of school operations and experience with students, staff, and parents proved invaluable in improving our user guides and providing training to all the district staff. Gabby's attention to detail and persistence ensured data integrity and accuracy in state and federal reporting. Her diligence and organizational skills guaranteed timely report cards postings and up-to-date Skyward School calendars. She consistently provided kind and respectful support to building users and parents with Skyward issues. Gabby's willingness to learn and assist her colleagues was always evident. When help was needed with facilities reservations, she took ownership of the project and established a workflow in a new system with limited resources. Gabby, you will be missed for your hard work, kindness, your laughter, and ability to find the best memes for the group chat. From all of us in the department and the district, I want to say thank you, enjoy your retirement, and keep in touch.
So my speech is very, very short. But I wanted to take the moment to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to work for the Board of Education for over 13 years. I am so grateful for the amazing people I've had the privilege of working alongside. Before I became a full-time employee, I also substituted as an administrative assistant at just about every school in the Board of Education, and everyone was wonderful. I learned from so many people. They're just wonderful and amazing people that you have here at the Board of Education. When I started as a substitute, I actually had one job here at the Board of Education, working alongside Georgia. And I always said to her, please have me back, find a job for me, please find a job for me here. I want to be with you. And Shari, whose job I eventually took over. And I find it pretty apropos that I am leaving alongside of Georgia, someone who I truly love. She's just everything. Everyone in IT is incredible. They're wonderful people. I will miss my early morning good mornings and my Jason saying Gabby, 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 and a limb, and just everyone here. I even substituted next to Pat K, right, in special programs. So I just want to say I truly valued my time here. I appreciate the laughter, the love, and the opportunities that I've experienced with everyone, everywhere in the Board of Education. So thank you all.
All right, and next we want to invite up our special programs representatives to honor the 32 years of service by Administrative Assistant to Special Programs, Pat Kowalczyk.
We're joking that Pat is probably upset that she was not the first person to go because she's weighing all the other speeches and thinking, which one do I use now? It will be the show. Okay. Boy, this is hard. Do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. It's a quote by Desmond Tutu. It surely reflects my thoughts on Pat K. Together we gather to celebrate someone who has served overwhelmingly for good, our Pat Kowalczyk, AKA Pat K. Her contributions to Ridgewood Public Schools span more than 3 decades and have touched countless lives, creating incredible positive ripple effects that will continue long after today. Pat K began her journey with our district as a paraprofessional at Hawes Elementary School, and also perhaps a little time at Ridge. No, just Hawes. And Glenn, from her very first day. Oh, that's right. Glenn gave me a lot of good parts for this. She demonstrated an unwavering commitment to special education that would define her extraordinary career. As our district's administrative assistant for special programs office, Pat has been the steady hand and the warm heart at the center of our community. She has often been the crucial first point of contact for parents, navigating what can often be an overwhelming system, offering not just assistance, but genuine care and understanding. She has provided reliable support for every single educator and related service provider while serving as a trusted right hand to every administrator for years. It is no surprise that Pat was honored with the prestigious Tradition of Excellence Award. This recognition, reserved for those who exemplify the highest standards of service and dedication to our district, perfectly captures Pat's impact. The award continues to acknowledge her service and extraordinary quality of her work throughout these 32 years. Janelle Nisi, Amanda Zanutis, Nadine, Pam, and now joining Alicia Pavone. We are all honored, truly honored to have had her support during our time here. Pat's approach embodies the very best of what education should be. Her colleagues describe her as cheerful, kind, courteous, always with a welcoming smile and a wonderful sense of humor that brightens everyone's day. She's known for being knowledgeable, yet always willing to lend a helping hand to anyone who needs anything, whether it's coordinating real-time with Skyward, leading communications through COVID, ensuring assistive technologies are updated, or even being used as a reinforcement with our preschoolers and our STEP students. Pat listens with empathy, solves problems creatively, and anticipates needs before they arise, all while treating everyone with the dignity and respect that have become her hallmark. Pat, on behalf of everyone gathered here today, thank you for your dedication, your compassion, and for that little bit of good for 3 decades, making Ridgewood Public Schools a better place. While we'll miss you tremendously, we take comfort in knowing that you have built something that is lasting. Congratulations on your retirement. Congratulations to Jeff, your children, Jamie and Kate, and of course to Parker, your love and ever pride and joy. We know the time for all the love and joy to come with them is so richly deserved. Go ahead.
There's no way I can. Michelle is so eloquent. I just want to thank everybody, the board, all my coworkers, everybody that I've worked with over the years. It's been an incredible journey. I had to put my glasses on. I can't see a thing. But I just want to express my heartfelt thanks to all the wonderful, wonderful people I've worked with over the years. Your support and confidence in my performance has been invaluable. I'm truly honored to have been part of the tradition of excellence that defines the Ridgewood Public Schools. And I thank everyone. I know Carol Pettit, everybody behind me. I know most of the people, and I've been around for so long. And I am going to miss it, but it's time to move on to another journey. But I thank you all for being part of this journey. Oh, Michelle.
And lastly, we want to invite up for her 30 years of service, first grade teacher at Willard Elementary School, Margaret Chenard.
Hey, first of all, I just want to say what an honor it is to hear all of these speeches about these amazing individuals. I've had the pleasure and honor of working with so many, and it's just incredible. So congratulations to everyone. But Peg Chenard is a dedicated and talented educator who has taught first grade at Willard School for, I was going to say 30 years. Though Peg would have found success in any grade, she has a strong pull toward 6-year-olds. Their curiosity, silliness, creativity, and genuine love for learning is a perfect match for Peg. For all who know Peg Chenard, she is a serious jokester. Peg is the teacher that wears the giant birthday hat, I mean big birthday hat with fake candles on her head. to greet her students on their birthday. She has been spotted dramatically standing on a table or two in her classroom when teaching. And rumor has it she even did a cartwheel in the hallway as a reward for her class, which I experienced today in the classroom. Her students love reporting her shenanigans to me and getting their teacher in trouble. Peg visited each one of her students during the pandemic with a colleague who's here tonight, wearing a blow-up dinosaur costume since they had been learning about dinosaurs. And of course, the leprechaun always visits 1CH, making a mess of the room. Peg helps them trace the trail of glitter and find that little shoe the leprechaun left behind. Peg is also known for her extreme organizational skills. She is the teacher that visits her classroom throughout the summer to redecorate, rearrange, and reorganize, even painting bulletin boards for colleagues. She loves taking those math workbooks home to tear out the hundreds of pages to create easily accessible packets for her students. She is visibly excited when asked to help a colleague clean out their room, reorganize the book room, or empty a closet. And on top of the organization, she is so creative in all she does. When she noticed the water bottles in her classroom kept falling over, she created little water bottle holders out of plastic popcorn containers and used zip ties to secure them to the table. Who knew? Peg is generous and will do anything to support a colleague or student. Need someone to wear the Panther costume for an event? Peg raises her hand high. In need of an auction donation? Peg will take the kids trick-or-treating as their prize. Need a volunteer to play in the Wizards game? Again and again and again, Peg is in. A student's parent can't come for PE play week? No worries. Peg will be the student's partner rather than taking her needed prep time. Her students wishing they had a class pet? Peg brought Trixie the rabbit and Patches the guinea pig to school, who actually she allowed to hop around the classroom during reading time. Yeah. Peg is all in. Peg Shanad loves Willard School and she loves teaching. In her career, she has experienced new everything, new curriculum, new units of study, new approaches to teaching in every subject, new technology, new colleagues, new administrators. She has taken it all in and continued to grow her practice to be the best possible teacher she can for her students. A few years ago, she even learned sign language, which each class has fully embraced and even proved to make her the perfect match for a recent student. Peg, you have helped make Willard School the special place that it is. Thank you for the dedication, love, and enthusiasm you have brought each day to your students and colleagues. We will miss your humor, your stories of Emma and Edward, and your presence all over Willard School. How lucky Willard has been to have you for 30 years. We wish you all the very best in your retirement, and we can't wait to hear about your adventures.
It's very short. I had to write it down. I just want to thank my entire family that came out tonight. It's very nice. Thank you for all their love and support throughout the years. I also want to thank my Willard family. I could not have done it without them. I feel very blessed that I went through the Ridgewood school system myself. My mom is also a graduate that's here tonight, and my dad. And my children also went through the Ridgewood school system. More importantly, I feel blessed, honored, and proud to call myself a Ridgewood teacher. I have loved every single minute. I have enjoyed every single minute, and I will miss you all, but hopefully I'll be back sometime. Thank you very much.
it will be very hard to fill all of your shoes. You've all done wonderful work for our district. Thank you so much, everyone. So let's do some pictures and maybe a family, we'll do the families first with our retirees. So Peg, you want to start? And then we'll do everyone sort of backwards, and then you can get a picture with all of us if you want. I think we'll get back to the meeting now. All of the retirees are welcome to stay for the rest of the night. So good. Okay, I think we have to start the meeting again. No, no. Um, So we're going to public comment now. And just a reminder that this is a public comment for any subject, but we will have a separate public comment after our budget presentation, which is going to be in a few minutes. So right now we'll open up for public comment. I don't know if there's anyone here in the audience who wanted to speak. I don't think there's any. Let me just check and see if there's remote. Right, I don't see any public comment right now. As I said, we will have a public comment after the budget presentation. And then, of course, we have a public comment at the end of the meeting.
But did you ask for the remote?
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, I'll close public comment for now, and we'll move to the public hearing on the 2025-26 budget.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. What an honor if you're just tuning in and you didn't hear what we were just doing, we were recognizing some incredible retirees from our school district. So grateful for all their years of service. And it's been an honor and a privilege for me to get to know so many of them, especially being so new to the district. It's a little scary to see so much institutional knowledge and experience leave at once, but I'm grateful for all their work. Very much so. So this is our final budget presentation. According to New Jersey statute and code, we are to be giving both a preliminary budget presentation and a final budget presentation. We are representing and recommending to the board this budget unchanged from the preliminary budget in terms of numbers. However, there's some updated analyses which Mr. Matthews will share with you. Again, I just want to start by commending the Board of Education and our business office and all of our principals and department leaders who worked very hard to evaluate all of our budgetary lines, to really sharpen their pencils, to make sure that we're capitalizing on as many efficiencies as possible so that we could continue to make progress towards the district goals and be able to support the new Vision 2030 plan, which we have just finalized. So tonight we're going to run over with all of you kind of what the highlights are with the budget. And of course, we'll have open time for questions for anyone that from the public would like to weigh in, share their thoughts, share their concerns. This is not an environment that really works well for dialogue, but we will, of course, make an effort to just acknowledge and any concerns or ideas that people bring forward. And it is at the discretion of the board whether they want to discuss any contributions that are made by the public at that time. Ms. President, with your blessing, we'll go ahead and start the presentation. All right, Mr. Matthews, you want to take us through?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Shores. So as previously mentioned, that on March 18th of this year, we had submitted our budget to the county superintendent and the business office. Our budget came back approved from the county on April the 3rd. And today on April 28th is the public hearing for the 2025-2026 budget at Ridgewood Public Schools. I also would like to thank the entire Board of Education. I'd like to thank my Finance Committee, Mr. Mohammed Mahmood, Ms. Mary McCallie. I'd like to thank our Board President, Sheila Brogan, Mr. Sarab Dani, another board member, and Mary Lou Handy for your diligence and your understanding and your pushing and nudging and asking us questions regarding the budget. As mentioned to you guys earlier, we want a zero-based budget, and every line item in that budget has been justified by principals, by supervisors, by the Ed Center, and obviously by your questions during the course of the whole budget process. So today, here's our agenda. We'll go through our district. We'll talk about our student highlights and accomplishments. We'll do a budget overview, and we'll talk about future needs and capital projects. So as mentioned earlier, budget objectives is to develop and implement a budget that effectively supports the school's mission and strategies and priorities. We started with a zero-based budget from the ground floor, where we went through every budget for the district. We did a mid-year review, looking at where they were year to date, looking at the current spend this year versus last year. And we went line by line to make sure that every item in that budget could be justified. There are some items that had to be gone over 2 and 3 and 4 times to make sure that it makes sense as far as how we're going to go forward. In the presentation, we did budget discipline. We instructed they have that zero-based budget approach. We went through the entire facilities reorganization. Current situation is Aramark is the person that oversees the custodial contract. They oversee some of our grounds and our trades, and we went through a total reorganization. We're currently in the process right now of hiring staff. We've onboarded our manager of custodial. We've onboarded our director of facilities. We're currently going through an interview process for a facility for a fiscal specialist and admin to complete the cycle of reorganizing the facilities department. We're also going through onboarding or interviewing the trades to have them onboarded before July 1st. And we're kicking off our year on May 1st with our new company for custodial to transition into the July 1st time period and get ready for the summertime. District facilities. In this budget, you will find that this budget has been adequately funded to handle the required maintenance, to protect our facilities, to do the emergency repairs, to do the maintenance, and do the capital projects. So these facilities will be maintained, they will be protected, and we'll move the district forward with this current budget. These are some numbers for the district. I'm not going to read them all to you, but currently we have 5,398 students. Student teacher ratio is 16:1. We have 10 school buildings, 248 AP scholars. Our cost per pupil was $21,299, which is up from our prior year cost of $20,449. We are also ranked number 4 out of 243 best schools in New Jersey. We have 12 homeschool associations who support our schools and our students and are very active in our communities. And we have one Ed Foundation, which we have to use as far as getting other donations. Here's our enrollment numbers over the last couple years. This chart is showing a slight decline in enrollment. In the fall, we'll be doing demographic studies, so we'll see where we're going to be in the future. But this is our numbers for the past couple of years. And state aid is tied to these numbers. As you have heard in the last presentation, that there was state aid reduction in this current year's budget. We got our state aid reduced by 3% in the current budget. And some of these reductions are based on our enrollment declines. So the 2025-2026 budget is supported by C&I objectives. It supports MTSS, which is a layered system of student support. It also supports a new gifted and talented program, as well as enrichment. And Mr. Ross, if you want to just kind of add to C&I, anything you want to mention regarding the 25-26 budget?
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. No, just to say, I want to thank the board for supporting these priorities because they really are very important. They're central to our strategic plan, and we're looking forward to a great year with these new improvements.
Thank you. So you touched on some of this already. Moving on, in terms of professional development, which is also part of our strategic plan, the PD is funded throughout the district and supports our strategic plan. And PD helps support the district in terms of advancing our staff at all levels to further drive instruction, provide the students and the staff with the resources they need to improve productivity and improve student outcomes. And these are some of the items that we are going through PD, just to name a few: journey of a graduate, executive functioning, school climate, K-5 mathematics, K-5 ELA, MTSS, art and music, data science, STEM, and purchasing and procurement. Special programs. 2025 budget supports these 5 special program objectives: specialized instruction, early intervention and pre-intervention support, family partnership, strategic alignment and annual review, and inclusive practices. Spelman, want to make any comments about special programs?
Certainly. I also thank the board for recognizing these. These are the actionable objectives that came off of the state of special education when we reviewed the data. So aligning those needs and those goals not only connect to the items in the strategic plan Vision 2030 that you just mentioned, but also specifically to special education. There's a lot of targeted goals that will be actualized through this new budget. Thank you.
Thank you. On to innovative academic programs. Moving into 2025 fiscal year, there will be new innovative academic programs at all levels: elementary, middle, and high school. On the elementary side, you see revisions and evidence-based enhancements to K-5 ELA. At the middle school courses, you see game design, pop dance legends, exploring computer science, creative coding. And at the high school level, you see English, see mathematics and computer science, AP calculus, data science. Under finance and applied arts, you see unified acting, unified painting, unified sculpture, and science world engineering and applied physics, H-EPIC, research and prototype development, H-EPIC. Moving on to student highlights and student achievements, sports highlights, and extracurricular highlights. So these are some of the class of 2024 achievements. Just going down the list: AP by the numbers, 1146 AP exams, 30 AP course offerings, 37% score of 5, 29% score of 4, 22% score of 3, 248 total AP scholars, 90 AP scholars with distinction, 44 AP scholars with honors, 60 AP scholars, 29 capstone diplomas, 25 research and seminar certificates. And these are just some outstanding numbers regarding the education that our students are receiving at Ridgewood Public Schools. Awesome average ACT score of 27 and 33 top-ranked sports teams throughout. On to 23-24 sports highlights. I'd like to do a kudos to Keith Cook, his impressive coaching staff, and our amazing student athletes. There were championships won across all seasons: the fall, the winter, spring for both boys and girls. Congrats to the student athletes, the parents, and the coaches for their exploits on and off the field. Extracurricular activities for 23-24. To name a few, we had the applied engineering. Ridgewood High School band members continue to do well. Ridgewood High School percussion and gymnastics, third place in their league. Ridgewood Quiz Bowl, Ridgewood Crew, French students, a whole bunch of nice events regarding extracurricular activities for the 23-24 class. So we're going to go through the actual budget overview. We'll go through the revenues, we'll go through expenditures, we'll go through the tax levy, and go through capital projects. So on the revenue side, for 2025-2026, our tax levy is $107 million, $392,191. The 2% tax levy increase, total dollars is $2,105,729. State aid side, as mentioned earlier, we had a reduction of 3%. So our state aid is $7,070,977. Budgeted fund balance, we used $2.7 million. Under capital, maintenance and emergency, we're using 4,023,280. That's a reduction because we had the Glen and Ridge project that was $6.8 million last year. Miscellaneous revenue, that's made up of like community school, interest income and rent revenue. That number is $4 million. Tuition is 2.7. Medicaid reimbursement, the number comes to us direct, and extraordinary aid is $3 million for a total general fund budget of $130 million, $989,000, 166, which is a reduction of $1.9 million over prior year general fund.
Ask a question.
Sure.
The capital maintenance emergency, $4 million. And so original budget, so 24, 25, $8 million, that was not used. So that gets carried forward for these projects, and
Yes.
the 4 is additional, right?
Yes,
So
that was the 8.8 was budget, not actual.
right,
Right.
that was budget. So, but the 4 million this year is for new projects, and those prior projects will still be done from that $8 million. So that is still
No.
set aside.
No, this is separate. This is the 25, 26 projects that are in the capital budget of $1.7 million. And also the maintenance reserve of 2.1, I believe it is. Top of my head, I don't remember the exact number. And then also emergency reserve of $500,000. So that's the 25, 26 reserve numbers.
So is the 4 million enough for Ridge and Glen project?
Yeah. No. It has nothing to do with Glen and Ridge.
Then Glen and Ridge will still be done.
Glen and Ridge is into the 24, 25 number,
Okay.
$8 million.
But they are still from that number.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
On I'm missing a slide. Hold a second. I apologize if this tax levy slide got slipped in there before the expenditures. I apologize for that. So on the expenditure side, the instruction is $63 million. School support is 15.7. Administrative is $9 million. Plant and property is $13 million. Transportation is 5. Employee benefits are $20 million. Capital projects, that's the $1.7 million. The community schools, 1.4 is for total expenditures of $130 million, 989, 166. I apologize, this slide came out of order. So this is the pie chart for the revenue breakdown. 81% of our revenues come out of the tax levy, 19% coming out of state aid and other sources. Expenditures, the same pie chart. I won't read each line to you, but this is the pie chart regarding expenditure breakdowns. And on the tax levy, at the last meeting, we did our tax levy based on $5.9 billion in terms of the ratables. So we were saying based on a household of $712,000, 700 was 251. But when you add the ratables of over $20 million, the actual number goes down to $80 less on the $712,700. On a monthly, it's less $6.74 on a daily rate of 2 cents. So the actual number went down based on the increase of ratables of $20 million.
108.
$208 million.
208.
$208 million. Sorry, I apologize. I think that number's in here. And on the capital project side, we have actually opening up bids tomorrow for the elevator modernizations at GW and Ridgewood High School. We have the Willard boiler replacement at $600,000. We have the halls, the air conditioning in their gym at $500,000 and the orchard roof replacement at $313,000. And this comes to the $1.7 million for capital project for the 25-26 budget. And we like to thank our entire Ridgewood organization, our budget team, Naomi Widener, Aaron Bowman, Julie Johanna, Amy, the whole entire team was very supportive in helping us put this together. Again, thanking to the finance committee, thank Dr. Schwartz for his leadership and direction and the support from the central office staff as well. That's it.
So one more question, if you can go to one slide before.
Which
The
slide?
capital the capital projects.
Yes, sir.
So, so from my position perspective, I just want to make clear that I'll be voting yes on the budget overall for the amount of tax levy, which is 2% that we are increasing the tax levy, and the overall resolution. And that about 1.7 million we would be spending on capital projects in principle, right? So I will be voting on that, but not on these specific projects. Because so elevators are good, the roof replacement is good. Those are emergency projects or immediate projects that we need. For the Willard boiler replacement and Hawes gym air conditioning, those are the type of projects. I think most of the HVAC, ventilation, those type of projects, we need to find 30%, 35% state money. We have different ways to find that, either by going smaller referendum or by going different grant ways. So we should be spending that money on projects where we don't get matching funds or we don't get referendum money or grants or aids. Like if the BF field comes up, if we have to spend money on that, then there will be no referendum grant that comes for that, right? So even if you go for a referendum, you don't get 34% matching debt service for that. So those are the type of projects that we should be doing from our capital money. And these projects can be done by finding both of these are not immediate like they are good to have within 1 to 5 years or 1 to 3 years. So we can try to find some money for that. That's my principle when I'll be voting on specific projects. But today I'm voting on overall as a budget that yes, we should be spending 1.7 million or that much money on the projects. But which projects, I think when these specific projects come in, then we would have again votes on those. So I'm just saying that my yes vote is not committing to these specific projects. We'll again have votes for specific projects. Thank you.
So when you submit the budget, you have to list your capital projects in the budget.
Right.
Obviously, these could change. They change all the time. So like, but you have to list each item in your capital projects, list the account numbers, the value of that project. And that's got to go into the budget software. So
Right, I totally get it. The only reason I'm clarifying that
Yes.
is in case the rest for other four board members feel strongly or not for if the majority feels strongly and one of these projects go through and at that time if I vote no, then it's not a contradiction that why I voted today yes and then I'm voting no later on. So I'm just clarifying my position.
I understand.
Thank you.
Yeah, are there any questions from the board? I know we've seen this and talked about it, so. On the capital projects, they are on the discussion in the
Wednesday meeting.
for the facilities committee.
What? Yeah. Wednesday special meeting.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I see a hand raised.
Dr. Schwartz, did you have anything you wanted to say before I open up for public comment? On the budget?
No, I don't think there really is much that is significantly different with respect to what we've discussed in the budget and what's in the budget
Much as
versus what we talked about last time. I think the only thing that seems to have changed is that we have vetted our numbers regarding, we had some requests and interest in water fountain placement, especially in elementary schools with respect to PFAS filtration. We are finalizing and finally vetting some additional numbers, but it does appear that we have some more affordable options to make at least more progress than we thought that we'd be able to make with respect to those in terms of ensuring a minimum number within each school and hopefully getting to a place where we have a sufficient distribution that we can even turn off any that we can't necessarily update. So that way the only open fountains are that in all the schools we have accessible and PFAS filtered fountains. So that's some positive news. More details on that once we confirm all the numbers.
Terrific.
And one of the numbers that's different from last presentation, which Mr. Matthews highlighted, is that the tax levy is 2% higher from last year, and tax impact on individual household is negative for Board of Ed portion. So that's a big change from what we presented last time. Well, just I want to thank you for all your work. It's not easy to come to a new district in September and start right
right away on crafting a budget for the following year. And all of our administrators for their teamwork and really looking at their budget critically. Dr. Schwartz for leading the team.
Can I just add another, add one more piece? I apologize for interrupting,
Oh.
Madam President.
Sure.
So we scheduled another meeting with everybody who did their budgets. Now we're gonna go back to everyone to let them know what's in their budget. So we're confirming what we've already submitted, so they'll understand like what's really in your budget. So we're gonna close that loop for 25-26 budget, so there's no question about what's in their budget.
Right.
Those meetings are gonna take place next week.
Great. And certainly for all the board members, I know that everybody took a deep dive. Annoyed you maybe with a lot of questions and clarifications, but in the end of the day, I felt that the board members did understand the budget and had really gotten their answers to their questions. So thank you for that.
My last comment, I apologize.
Sure.
One of the things that you and I spoke about earlier was the one thing when we do the budget calendar, the 25-26 budget or 26-27 budget, is getting the budget priorities from the board. Like, what are the things that you guys want a lot sooner? So we can start to bake that into the budget process. So it's not coming later, sooner rather than later.
Right.
We'll work on that.
Great. All right. If anybody, any other? No? Okay, then I will open up for comments from the public. This comment period is on the 25-26 budget as presented. There's no one here in person. We have some hands raised, so Peter Moulton, you're on with the board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the presentation and the hard work in regards to the budget. Just to start with one item, because it was mentioned by Dr. Schwartz, is thank you for the work in terms of the water fountains this year and getting safe water to the kids before we have safe water from the town. But in regards to the budget, two questions, if it can be addressed tonight. One is in regards to the benefits costs, and if that's something that is a one-time increase, or it seems like this is going to be rising much more substantially than inflation moving forward, as you know, benefits have over the years, but it's becoming obviously a larger piece of the budget, and it's a big increase. And the other is just a general of this is it's been addressed before of the challenges that may be coming over the years. We have aging buildings and obviously want programming. And what are the things that you see that may be challenged or constrained because of the budget, and or where you see improvement in the future? So thank you.
Mr. Moulton, are you still there?
I am.
We had a little bit of a flip in part of yours, and so could you just repeat your concern or your question?
Oh, can you hear me now? Is it any better? Or is it still breaking up?
No, you're not breaking up now.
Okay. So the items were one in regards to the benefits. If it seems as though that is this a one-time increase in regards to benefits because it was a fairly substantial increase, or is that something that we believe is going to be ongoing in regards to large increases in the future? And the second item was, are there areas that seem like they're constrained within our current budget, and also what seem to be the possible opportunities in the future in regards to our budget?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll try to give some answers to those questions, but we'll finish with public comment first. Anne or Boyd Loving?
Boyd A. Loving, Ridgewood resident. The first thing I'd like to say is with respect to Dr. Schwartz's opening comments tonight about this public hearing. This is a public hearing, not a public comment. Typically at public hearings, there is a dialogue, and I'm certain that the taxpayers would appreciate it tonight if there is some sort of immediate dialogue between speakers and members of the board, and not that questions will be answered at a later date or questions will be answered by email. That is the purpose of public hearings. It is different than a public comment section. The purpose is for the taxpayers to be able to engage in dialogue on specific topics. So I would appreciate it if there were questions answered immediately, as opposed to we'll answer your questions at a later time, so that we can keep the transparency going. With respect to the comments about revenue coming in due to an additional $208 million in assessments, I guess you all know that 188 million of the 208 million in new assessments is attributed to the fact that the Valley Hospital is no longer providing inpatient or in-bed service at the facility. So now they can be fully taxed, as opposed to the bed payments that were coming in the past. It is my understanding from listening to a presentation that was delivered by the village manager last week that the bed service revenues that the village was collecting, none of them were targeted, or none of them were going to the Board of Education. But now that we can collect full assessment on Valley, the board will be getting some of the $5.2 million estimated annual payment from Valley. I guess also, as you all know, Valley is contesting paying $5.2 million a year. So my question here tonight is, was the budget that you just presented, was it built on the fact that there will be money coming in from the Valley Hospital? So that's my question. I hope somebody can answer that. You're not answering right now?
Well, I'm just finishing public comment as we normally do, and then we'll answer questions.
Again, this is not a public comment. This is a public hearing. This is not public comment. It's supposed to be, during public hearings, it's supposed to be some dialogue. Are you saying that you're not going to follow that method? You just want to have public comments here?
Well, yes, comments from the public is right now. We'll get to your question.
Sheila,
Okay.
is it comment or is it public hearing?
I thought this was advertised as a public hearing.
Yeah, I think public hearing does not have a time limit for the questions.
It's a public hearing, but we'll see whether there are any other comments. And then there might be other people who have questions.
Typically, that's not the way public hearings are run in the state of New Jersey.
That's not how we've done it in the past.
I have the answer. If you want, I can clarify that.
Pardon me? I'm not gonna, I certainly wouldn't argue with anyone from the public. We have a couple of questions that were asked. And we also have somebody, we have another hand up. So I thought that we would gather all of the questions and answer them after that. So is there, and then we'll get back to you, we'll be talking about that. If you have another comment to make after you have an answer.
I'm not making comments. This is a public hearing, so I am participating in the public hearing, but I will say more. So so I'm disappointed that the board's discretion here is that you are not going to manage this as a public hearing, that you're going to manage this as a public comment and get back to a later date. But that is what it is. Next comment or question I have is that the Dr. Schwartz has indicated tonight he has changed his position. In the past, I took issue with his position that he had said that the cost of adding the water fountains, the purified water fountains in schools was, quote, exorbitant, unquote. I am pleased to hear tonight that there seems to be some movement in the direction of providing clean water to the students in the district. However, after the last comments from Dr. Schwartz concerning the exorbitant nature of water, I decided to do a little research and I filed an Oprah request with your business office to determine how much bottled water is being purchased by the district on an annual basis. And I'm a little bit confused about the results I got back. First of all, there was $3,700 in bottled water purchased by the admin building in December of 2024. The note on the invoice indicates that it was due to a water emergency. I checked with the water department, Mr. Richard Calby, who's the director of that department, and asked him if there was any sort of water main break in the area in December that affected the admin building. And I was told, as far as he knew, there were no water main breaks in the area that would have created a water emergency. So the only thing I can think of is that perhaps this bottled water purchase in the amount of $3,700 had to do with the water emergency that took place in the village in September and October, and the water was actually distributed to schools. So I would just like some answer as to what that $3,700 bottled water purchase was that the invoice came in on December 20th of 2024, and the invoice was labeled in connection with water emergency. Also, as a result, the results I got back from that Oprah indicated that there are 3 schools in the system that purchase bottled water via a dispenser on a regular basis. That is Glen, Ridge, and Orchard. I'm curious to know, what about the other schools? Why are Glen, Ridge, and Orchard purchasing water? And some of those invoices indicate that it is a state mandate that that water be provided. If it's a state mandate that the water be provided, what about the other elementary schools, the high school, and the middle school? Why are there no recorded purchases of bottled water for those schools, or was that data not provided to me? So that is another question I have. There seems to be a discrepancy with respect to purchases of bottled water. I received information only regarding 3 schools in the admin building. On the 3 schools that I received information about, there was a notation that it is required by state law. Again, if that's the case, what about the other schools? I guess those are my issues. And I say they're issues, not questions, or questions, not issues, whatever. And I'd like some response. Hopefully it's tonight. Again, this was advertised as a public hearing. And typically in public hearings, there is a back and forth dialogue, not a attempt to put taxpayers on the spot and have them make comments and then hope that we get answers at a later date. Thank you so much and good evening. And I'll stay on the line in case you have any immediate answers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Levin. And I vote.
Good evening, Ann Loving, Ridgewood resident. At the risk of sounding redundant, I would also like to say what my husband said, that I am delighted that apparently, or hopefully, there are now going to be filters put into more of the water fountains in these schools. But I do want to know how this came about, because Dr. Schwartz specifically stated that the cost was going to be exorbitant and that the science on whether it was even necessary and whether PFAS in water was dangerous was not clear. So, Dr. Schwartz, I'm wondering, did you do more research and conclude that in fact PFAS in the water is dangerous? And how did you come up with the fact that it's no longer exorbitant? I'm delighted that that's the case, but I want to know about the change of plan.
We have questions from the public, benefits was one of them. I don't know if it.
I mean, I'll take the benefit question and maybe some of the other questions as well. So one of the things that we've been doing since I came on board was. Yeah, I was gonna bring it closer. So one of the things that we've done is we put in 3 requests with the state employee health benefit plan to get a record of our claims over the last 2 years. we've been getting projections for 26, 27, but they work on a calendar year that claims are going to be going, that benefits are going to be going up over 20%. So for the current budget, claims or health benefits are up 16%. This is what we are projecting to be the kind of number we're going to see for the next couple of years. So that's why we're looking at alternative health medical plans. And that's why we're requesting our claims history right now. So we are realizing that this is going to be one of those cost drivers over the next couple of years where we're going to be seeing double-digit increases in health benefits. So yes, for this year, it's 60%. I've seen numbers of 25% for next year. So we just put in our latest request for claims probably about 3 weeks ago. It takes about a month or so for it to come in. And once those final numbers come in, we'll have updated claims through March. And now we also have a bid out for medical brokers as well. And whoever would decide to be our medical broker can now make a presentation to the board regarding the different options that we can look at regarding self-insured, full insured, private insurance, and that'll come to the committee first. So that process is moving along right now. The medical benefit broker package has been done. We just got to do our final evaluation, and then we'll be bringing out that to the board at the next meeting. So that's the medical benefit situation. So yes, it is a big cost driver. It is concerning, and we need to do something about it. The other thing regarding the water,
Comment we had was, were there areas were there areas that will be constrained with this budget, and are there areas that you're concerned about as you? I think this is always a concern.
Want me to go first, Dr. Schwartz? So one of the things you're always concerned about is out-of-district tuition. So we sit down with special programs, we get their numbers, we see the numbers are going up every year, and then we have to build a contingency for kids going out of district beyond what's in the budget. So I think we're using 8 kids or 9 kids or 10 kids, something like that. So those are costs that go up beyond the budget season. So yes, that is in the budget, and every year you got to plan for an increase of kids that are going out of district, and those numbers are going up, and also double-digit increases every year. So that is a cost driver that's very concerning, but it's being managed regarding kids graduating out of the program and bringing kids into but that's special programs issue, but financially it is a major concern and a cost driver. So health benefits, out of district tuition, and then also just in terms of how we purchase, that's something that we're trying to streamline and improve upon. Like you'll see, there's a resolution here for services for custodial supplies. Well, 2 years ago, that was $391. Last year was like $350. And for 25-26 numbers down to $280. So we are streamlining some of these cost drivers to be more efficient and keep the numbers to a level that's appropriate for the budget. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I would also say that, as Mr. Matthews referenced, health benefits is something else we have to look at as well. It's a constraint right now, but it's also a potential opportunity if our claims rates are good, we might be able to go out to market and be able to get equal or better coverage for our staff at a more affordable increase. Of course, we always have constraints with respect to the fact all the fixed costs related to our budget, so we have to stay mindful of those things. And if I heard correctly, I think some of the commentary in the first time that he asked the questions was related to facilities, and of course, our facilities do present a considerable demand on us for preventative maintenance and just general maintenance, so that way we can treat our property with an appropriate amount of respect that's due our community and our students and our staff members and our taxpayers as well. So we don't have a ready and available steady fund that would be sufficient to meet all of our facilities needs just on an annual basis. So we do need that's a constant strain that we're under, where we're going to have to be creative. I think that was kind of a part of the origin of Mr. Donnie's comments earlier about when we see some of these bigger projects, are there opportunities for us to seek methods like ROD grants or maybe targeted referendum where we were confident that we get a small amount back. But we have to talk about some of those conversations, because we won't be able to chip away with the money we just have from year to year. Are you on?
Yeah, it's on. So targeted, or the other thing that I've recommended a couple of times now, and I'm again advocating for it, is some sort of certainty every year. So we know we have 11 buildings, we know how we have old facilities, we know we need to upgrade them. But if we create a large referendum and try to do everything at once, there are inefficiencies in that because you have still same number of administrators who have to try to manage or monitor all of them. That cannot be done. So that's outsourced to architects and construction managers and all. And then sometimes something may not be needed for 8 years or 9 years, and we are doing it today because we are trying to do one referendum at one time. So if we create a steady set of referendum, and if we say, okay, uh, a few years ago, we know we were looking for 90 million or $100 million. That was in 2019. That's what we were looking at, right? For all the upgrades, the referendum number at that time. We have chipped away from some of that, but we know if we divide that number to 20 years, and if we created $5 million per year, that's a manageable number for our administrators to prioritize. So if they have a limited number of funds, they would only pick the projects that are really needed that year instead of any project that may be priority 2. So always we'll be picking the priority projects in that range, $5 million range. And then after a few years, when that debt is paid off for year 1, then it's revolving. So you're not increasing on the base amount, or you're not increasing a big number at one time. So if we come up with a $5 million every year referendum with the election time, we can just add a question there. That would be very small impact to the residents every year. And after a few years, that debt will be paid off, and then we will just be reusing that same debt service numbers. And the bigger benefit of doing it that way is we are prioritizing the really important projects, and we will be getting 34-35% from the state. So every time when I look at these projects, I think that, oh, we could have done it for cheaper, but it costs more when you do things for school and when you hire the labor at a certain regulations and prevailing wages and all the overhead. So that at least that overhead part is being paid by the state from our income taxes, not from our property taxes. So that's why I advocate for a fixed certain every year we do the projects. That way administrators also will have certainty. And to answer some part of Mr. Martin's question, we do have a healthy maintenance spend every year, and we have a maintenance reserve. So if something really breaks, we do have maintenance reserve, and we do have some capital reserve that we have built up over last few years. So if something breaks, we won't be just out of the water. We have the money. And I just want to continue in the continuation. I wanted to answer the other question about the assessment part, where Mr. Loving asked that did we plan our budget based on Valley's assessment or increased assessment? So no, we are not taking that into account, because if you look at our presentation 2 weeks ago versus our presentation today, our tax levy is same. So we, when I say we, it's all Mr. Matthews and team's work, but I'm taking the credit by saying we. As Mr. Matthews said, that it was a zero-based budget. So he looked at last year's tax levy, created a zero-based budget, and then added what are the really needed improvements or changes that we have. And if you remember, one of the slides was the expenses slides, and in that only 14% is where we can actually pick the vendors and vote. Other 86% or so is fixed costs, where it's salaries, benefits, the transportation, special ed, all of those. So those are already long-term contracts that we are already in there. So the annual ones are only 14%, and those are not discretionary. Those are the only thing that we vote over is that which vendor to pick and how much to spend on a specific project at one time, right? So those are the types of things that we are doing. So the tax levy is increasing by 2%. That has no impact on Valley Hospital assessment. Where that Valley Hospital assessment comes in is the tax percent each household for every household. That number changed from last presentation to today. So when we had the presentation 2 weeks ago, we were, as Mr. Matthews said, we were using $5.9 billion as our rateable base. That rateable base changed to 6 point something this today. So that's what make individual household impact as negative. So we will not have any school board increase for individual homes because most of that will be absorbed by the Valley Hospital increase. But if that doesn't come through, then everybody would experience somewhere around 1.9% or 1.94% increase, whatever that number comes out. Is that correct?
Pretty much said it all. Yeah,
Thank you.
you and I had some back and forth on, it. yes.
Yep, thank you.
And the last comments were about the fountains, but you had mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, and I'll speak to it again. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Loving, for your concerns and your comments. We did go back. Of course, we hear from our constituents and we want to make sure that our numbers are accurate. I know speaking with Mr. Donnie and with Mrs. Brogan, who are both on our facilities team, we were all really interested in just making sure that our assessments of what the potential costs of water fountains would be. So that way we know what we're getting into in terms of making such commitments. It did become clear when we vetted our numbers that there were a couple of things that were actually skewing that number very high. The first was that we were actually working off of a number that was erroneously quoted, which was all of the district water fountains, not just the ones that have not already been treated. That skewed our number quite high. It was actually almost double beyond what we expected. And then beyond that, we also did find quotes for fountain changes that were lower than the actual quote that we had had. So we don't have a final number for what that would consist of, but looking at the layout of which schools already have been treated retroactively with filters and which schools have a disproportionate number of untreated water, we're confident that we'll get to a place where we'll be able to offer treated water for all of our students. Do you think that's the right thing to do? When I made my comments about PFAS and safety and all that, we know pretty clearly that PFAS is not healthy for any human being. With respect to the changes in regulations, there's just a lot of uncertainty right now, and there is not very clear guidance regarding what schools should do when there's PFAS in their water. So that said, I also had a conversation with the district physician, and he also supported the fact that if we could find a way to get it to a place where it was something that we could manage within the budget, even if it was for a year and a half or whatever time period that it would be, that it would still be prudent, certainly, to make sure that we're just, and even if it would not necessarily have any, like a major significant impact on students, that we're certainly just doing our due diligence to do the right thing by our kids. So we can't ever guarantee a perfectly safe environment, but we can certainly, within the constraints of our budget, if we can find ways to make our schools safer, perpetually safer, then that is certainly what we have strived to do. Mr. Loving also referenced records of bottled water purchases. I can't speak to which schools are purchasing water and why. That's something we'd have to look at. I'm still understanding all the different patterns of the way things are done here. I think I might have been interpreting a concern about like large purchases. I know that last year, I want to say it was last year, I'm just shooting from the hip right now, but there was a circumstance where we were concerned about some sort of a water main break potentially. And so we had to purchase a large quantity of water bottles to ensure that we could keep schools open, because we can't open school if the water's not running. So, or at least if the water's not drinkable at all. So perhaps.
Summertime, when I wasn't even here, but I authorized them to order extra water have a 1 day's inventory for all the schools. Last summer, that's why I authorized that like last July or August.
Yeah.
Right. So I think his question was that he also remembered that it was in September, October, but the invoice is dated December. So he wanted to confirm that is the invoice dated December, which says water emergency, was for the September
I want to
water,
double check
or
that because that
or
could
is it
be
new?
ordered by food service. Could be food service ordering that water. So I don't know the answer right now,
Right,
but I'll
so that-
find out.
Right, so that was
Yeah.
the question. And the other was, if we have 6 elementary school and the Glen school, so 7 buildings with little kids, why do we only have dispensers in 3 schools and not the other 4?
You have to look at that, right? Yeah. Get back.
And then I would, and then maybe perhaps in the spirit of the hearing, even though we're giving this in a structured fashion, we want to give anyone who wants to come back and ask for clarification that they can do that now.
We haven't closed our comment yet.
Can I just share something that might, there,
Mr. Loving, are you still there?
Do you want to go ahead?
I just wanted to add that there was a water advisory issued by Ridgewood Water on Saturday, September 21st of this past year, 2024, that affected Willard and Ridge. and that was sent out to the parents. And it is stipulated here that there would be water bottles made available. So I don't know if that's part of this process, but it might be important.
Which month?
That was September.
Right, right.
Yes.
That's, I
So
think
that-
that's what he mentioned.
Right,
that it
yeah,
was-
I just wanted to be sure that, that.
Right. Is your mic on?
Oh, your mic not be on.
Mr. Loving?
Yeah, good evening, Boyd Loving, Ridgewood resident. Thank you so much for providing answers to some of my questions. I'd just like to know, will somebody be contacting me directly via email or phone with regard to my open questions concerning why are there only 3 schools in the district that have these water coolers? And what is the notation on the water cooler purchases that it is by state mandate? I believe the question about the bottled water purchase was already answered by Mr. Matthews, who indicated that he authorized that. Why the invoice came in December for a purchase that took place in September or October, I don't know, but I'm hoping that that's what that is, as opposed to $3,700 worth of water being used in the admin building for some reason. So I would appreciate somebody getting back to me with the open question concerning the use of bottled water in the 3 schools and why not all the schools, including the middle schools and the high school. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You will, thank you. Seeing no more hands raised, we will close the hearing and move on with the agenda.
Well, you've already given me many chances to speak, so I just would say a few other things. First of all, I just want to acknowledge 2 individuals who retired, whose retirements are on this agenda, who were not joining us tonight, but still deserve some recognition. First, Julianne Matthews. Dr. Matthews has served the district for 3 years as a supervisor of elementary English language arts and social studies, so humanities. I want to thank Dr. Matthews for her years of service here and all the work she's done in supporting our teachers. And then I also want to acknowledge Mr. Dan De Silva. He is an art teacher at Ridgewood High School. Mr. De Silva does a lot of really great work in different medium, and particularly he does some really interesting work with fashion. He's done 25 years of service with the district, and I just certainly want to acknowledge him as well. I also want to acknowledge some other folks. Today was the first day of Alicia Pavone. She is our new Director of Special Services. She actually started today. She was approved by the board a couple months ago. And we're really glad to have her. She's really rounding out the administrative team. She sat in our first meeting today. That was fantastic. I also want to introduce a candidate who's being represented to you tonight. He's actually here with us today. His name is Justin Jasper. Mr. Jasper is being recommended to be the new principal of Ridge Elementary School. We did a really nice search. We saw some really great candidates. Mr. Jasper had an opportunity to speak in front of a group of stakeholders for the district and present his insights in the school. He leads in a very humanistic and student-forward way. But he's got a strong record of also improving student achievement, and we're really looking forward to recommending him to all of you, and as the new candidate to be the new principal of Ridge Elementary School. Mr. Jasper, did you want to say anything? You can just go to the microphone, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Board of Education, Dr. Schwartz. It's just an honor to be here. I'm really excited for the opportunity to join the Ridgewood team in public schools, and can't wait to meet all the teachers and staff, children and families of Ridge, and just very excited for the opportunity and looking forward to tradition of excellence.
Thank you so much,
thank you very
Mr.
much.
Jasper.
Welcome, and I think
We'll vote.
welcome, and I think we're thinking of changing it to in pursuit of excellence.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll talk about that a little later. So, and then also, he's not with us here now, but he stopped by earlier today. We also do have a recommendation here. I think Mr. Matthews, you were understandably excited for having him here, but may have misspoke earlier when we talked about him onboarding him. Is that we have actually recommending him tonight, and that is the new director of facilities for the school district, Mr. Joe Higgins. Mr. Higgins is the current director of facilities in Hawthorne School District. And he really, again, shined in the process of our interviews. He was our lead candidate, so much so that we actually felt like it would be ingenuine if we presented him with any other candidates because he was so strong. But nevertheless, we wanted to give a stakeholder group from our school district the opportunity to vet him. When he was done, he was concise, he was to the point, and he was clearly experienced. The committee was very comfortable with us advancing and working with him, and we're really excited to have him. As if you didn't follow it, if you haven't been following along, Mr. Matthews has been working very diligently with his team to reconfigure how we deliver facility services in the school district. And we're bringing many new positions in-house and no longer outsourcing those positions. So it's more or less a net neutral change with respect to what we had been paying with our previous layout. But Mr. Higgins will be in charge of all of those functional parts. So we're really looking forward to having him join. I also wanted to just thank the board again for your support of our full process for developing the Vision 2030. And as Mr. Donnie was just referencing, and I think Mr. McCallie was right there with him, there's a vision and mission statement on the agenda that we're going to adopt tonight, which we felt would be an appropriate next step to formalize our commitment to this process and the outcomes of this process. If you haven't seen the presentations, we had thousands of survey participants and community participants and stakeholder groups, and we've really come out on the other side with some really, really profound points of agreement. And I say that subjectively. I've been really impressed by the extent to which people who participated in this process feel very good about the direction, particularly of the mission and the vision statement. So we can certainly have some commentary on that. I'd certainly welcome any thoughts that we have when we get to that portion of the agenda. But I really love the idea of not necessarily that we're trying to do away with the tradition of excellence, quite the opposite, that we really want to embrace excellence. But I think we recognize that within the mission statement, our group that was working together to put that mission statement together recognized that really it's in the pursuit of excellence that we find excellence, right? It's not necessarily something that you have to arrive at and then maintain. So, as we consider this and talk about it as a community, I'm just grateful for the time and commitment folks made to really hashing out all these different components. And you'll hear about this all the time because I'll make this a part of my monthly update as part of my superintendent report. We'll talk about it as part of the superintendent coffees. And of course, in all of our district goal conversations and our budget planning, Vision 2030 will be at the forefront. So the next real big installment of Vision 2030 is probably going to be the State of the Schools address on June 2nd. So we're actually having a meeting this week. It's a pretty intensive meeting to really kind of finalize what our what data visualizations we're going after to be ready to really help give an even deeper insight into how our schools are doing and how our students are doing and what trends we're finding. And we're going to be really couching that data in through the lenses of pursuing excellence, but also trying to understand what we intend for the journey of a graduate to be, for those who are part of that conversation, right? So, and our students were very much, the student participants were very much in favor of us considering our vision for the experience as being a journey. So that's going to be a significant part of how we present our information as we proceed. We'll also have a district goal presentation as part of our end of year processes. I report out on district goals. I'm going to work with the board and particularly Mrs. Brogan on figuring out how we want to. Last year, we did two different presentations. We did a state of the schools presentation and then a district goal presentation. I don't want to make like the world's longest state of the schools address by trying to combine them, but if we can somehow efficiently provide them together, that probably would be positive. So I think we'll work and figure that out.
1 o'clock in the afternoon with the goal of being out by midnight.
So we'll figure that out. But in the meantime, and then of course, all of our 25, 26 plans, our vision 2030 is already reflected in all of that work. So I want to commend everybody who's been a part of that process, and all the good things going on in the district. And I think I've talked enough. So thank you all.
Dr. Schwartz. All right, we'll go to consent items, regular and routine.
Madam
A.
President?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Remember you wanted me to go through the,
Oh,
facility-
yeah.
Oh, I
thanks.
that was my fault. I was supposed to kick it off. And actually, I'm
I
gonna
was bothering you about that too. so.
And Mr. Ross also gave me a really great rundown of where he is with a lot of projects. So I'm gonna just give you an opportunity to just throw out a few of those things too, if that's okay. But we'll start with Mr. Matthews, so you have a chance to organize yourself, because
So I
I'm
did-
totally surprising Mr. Ross on this.
Yeah, just for the board and the public, there was a very intense and just like
Ambitious?
overreaching, yes, ambitious
Overreaching.
list of projects to be done during the spring break. And I understand that many of them, or most,
Yeah, we're almost
were
100% done.
completed, and I thought it would be good for the board and the public to hear all the good work that happened this last week.
Yeah, as Ms. Brogan said, it was a very ambitious spring project list that we put together. We were going to report the findings or the update to you at the facilities meeting, but she had asked that I do it today. So it's a little mundane, but I'll go kind of school by school with some of the major points. I'll start with Benjamin Franklin. So first thing we had on here was paint the main hallway. So you walk into Benjamin Franklin right now and you'll see very shiny blue main hallway. And as you go down the end of the corridor, now you see, if you go to the left, we got to now paint that side now in the summertime. But the corridor looks really, really nice. It's very bright and shiny. It does brighten up the place. Also on entrance number 8, we did the concrete pathway from the sidewalk to the entrance. That was all concreted out. Looks very nice. We also walked the kitchens, and we cleaned the kitchen floors. Were all clean and shiny because we went there on the very first day last Monday, and we cleaned all the grease traps. And we did water testing at BF. We had 2 more schools. We had BF and we had the high school. So the water testing at BF was completed on Monday, April the 14th. So everything at BF that was on the list was done. And going to the Glen School, again, the concrete pathway in the front of the school that was all kind of choppy and unsightly. That's all done. I actually have pictures. We abated and installed the flooring in rooms 11 and 13. We did the grease traps. We cleaned the kitchen floors. We did the high school tennis courts, which were chipping away. We did a big project last year on 3 of the courts. It's starting to crack and chip away. So we called the company up, came in, gave us a proposal, and they resealed and overlaid the mesh. And so the seals all the cracks are now sealed. But I think long-term, we're going to probably have to redo the tennis courts because I can still see it's cracking on the perimeters and on the edge of the tennis court. So that's going to be something we got to deal with later on. At the high school, install new epoxy floors and a hallway ramp, done. Cafeteria, done. Science wing, all done. Clean the grease traps. I didn't check it, but it's checked off as done. Somerville, I think it's like 16, 17 years you've been trying to get this work done. Something like that. I don't know the number of years. So I went to Somerville last Monday morning because that was one of my main pet peeves to get that work done. I didn't even call Warner to tell I was coming, but I was just coming because I wanted to do the inspection. To get to the door, she was right there smiling ear to ear and walking right to the entrance, and the work was really done in a very first-class manner. She was very, very happy with the work at Somerville. We putting in the new ceilings, new lights, and it's a lot of work that had to be done to get that work done. Because I went there on the Thursday before or Wednesday, and they did all the rip out. I was real nervous about the work getting done, but I have to also kudos to my team, like Damian and Julie, just following through to make sure the work got done because I was off those last 2 days and they hung around and made sure everything got done. And Damian worked all around the clock that entire week. Courtyard at Travell was completed. Power washed the courtyard, put in new flooring at Willard in rooms B1. That looks real nice compared to what it was before. Willard, the treads on the stairwells are on schedule, but we have to go ahead and replace them because the treads, all the treads didn't come in, but that's work is almost done and should be done shortly. The main hallway in Willard, if you've been to Willard over the last couple of days, main hallway painted, bright, shiny, really nice. Hall's carpet was completed today. We had a situation there regarding some other remedial work that had to be done or remediation. Outdoor stair nosing, again, the stair nosing is that little tread on the stairs. That is not quite done because we have to go and get the right size stair nosing. So that's in process right now. The epoxy floors in the 2 bathrooms at the halls, that's all done. So we did spring cleanup of all the buildings. I didn't go to all the schools, but they're all checked up as being done. We had offices in the Ed Center that were painted. We painted the honors office. Ms. Corliss, your office was painted as well, right? Brian, you got a paint job as well. So we did a lot of painting during the spring break. Boiler rooms were all, not all, but most locations were all done. We had combustibles. It was kind of messy there. A lot of that stuff was all removed and discarded. And in terms of the hallways, we washed and burnished hallways in all the schools. It says here completed. I didn't see all the schools, but the 4 or 5 that I did see look really nice. So all in all, it was a very successful spring break, and we're actually working on summer projects right now. We kick off the summertime with a meeting on Thursday, May 1st with the new company. We're going to also have Aramark help with the transition and start the onboarding process sometime next week. But it was a very successful spring break project, and the entire team all chipped in to support, follow up, and make phone calls and do surveys and make sure that it all happened. So it was very happy with the outcome.
Thank you very much. That is a lot of progress made, and I look forward to having it continue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Matthews. And I just, while he was speaking about all these projects, I just get excited on the prospect of getting more work done. So I did some numbers. If rest of the board members agree to that proposal at some point, that if we start spending $5 million a year on capital as a referendum, that would be, per household impact would be less than $40 a year. So every year we can just impact somewhere in between 30 to 40, depending on the interest rate. I'm taking higher interest rate with the current interest rate, probably $30 a year. We can do $5 million of projects every year because we don't spend that $5 million in 1 year. That will be 15 to 20 year spread, and 35% will be coming from the state.
I wanted to say if the state has money to fund it.
I wanted to say that many projects in 5 days took a lot of dancing and coordinating and amazing. And as a teacher in the building, to come back and see paint and flooring, I bet, and for the students, I bet that was a really very positive experience. Now, I hate to ask, but you mentioned about repairing the tennis courts. Is that going to be a positive in terms of students able to use that on the tennis team for the spring more than what you thought might have had
So,
to happen?
I actually met with Mr. Cook on that Monday or Tuesday when I surveyed the tennis courts to check out the work myself. So we spoke about the tennis courts. So you're going to get through the spring season, but it's not sustainable and it's not a long-term solution. The repairs that were done over the break, like you could actually tell.
Because I know the parents were upset about the conditions. So I think this addressed some of their concerns.
Yeah,
It made it great.
It's a short-term
news.
solution.
Very
Yeah.
good news.
Ms. Brogan, it's not a discussion, but since you made a comment, I want to cross question because you said if the state has the money. So in
Debt service.
in the recent past, has the state denied if there was a referendum to match the debt service? If there was a district that went through a referendum for
No,
long range,
we've been charged fees for the, for debt service. So, nothing, I think, I mean, I operate that you can't really absolutely count on everything from the state. So.
No, I'm just asking a very specific question.
Yeah, I know.
That
I
if
hear
it's
your
a, and
question.
yeah, so you know the long range facilities plan, you know the referendum process. And if a district has gone through the referendum process, has the state denied the 34% matching grant because they did not have money in your recent recollection? And
Not to us.
if not to us, right? So, and I have not heard any news reports for other districts. So I don't know where that comment came from. And if that is not the right approach, then it's a question that one of the residents is asking. It's a question that some of the residents are asking, okay, what is our long-term plan to keep the facilities updated? So if you have an alternate plan, please propose that.
I will. Did you have something?
Thank you, Mrs. Brogan. I'll give you a super lightning round on some of our curriculum work. First, I wanted to say that today was Alicia Pavon's first day. I had an opportunity to sit down with her and just sort of talk about the opportunities that are available together. And we're going to be doing some walkthroughs, buildings, and just really talking about that partnership. So it's a very exciting day for us and very exciting time. We as a team, including Dr. Fenwick, Ms. Murphy, we've been vetting various products that will give us the ability to capture more student performance data, progress monitoring through our MTSS system that we're going to be through our MTSS that we'll be rolling out next year. So we've been looking at a number of those, and we'll be talking to the board at some point soon, with a recommendation. We have posted our 3 gifted and talented teachers. So we have resumes coming in right now, which is great, and hope to get those interviews going as soon as possible to find some quality candidates and really build a team that will help us build that program out across our elementary schools, and then also coordinate with our middle schools so that there's a bridge from grade 5 to grade 6. I had a meeting with the Ridgewood Education Foundation a couple days ago just to firm up the details on game design, which is a very exciting elective that they are supporting. We had well over 100 kids choose that as their first elective option. So that's really, really exciting. So we're looking right now at potentially 2 sections at GW and 2 sections at BF next year. So that's really great. And we hope to firm that up the next couple of weeks. Then I had finally a really exciting discussion with the Assistant Dean of Teacher Education at Ramapo College. And they have a fairly new program. It's a bit different from the typical student teacher placement program. It's more of a residency where they will send a bunch of teachers to a district. So you might get 12 teachers from Ramapo College. And rather than a model in which those teachers are supervised by Ramapo, they're actually supervised by Ridgewood people. And we form a collaborative team with Ramapo, and we really build a relationship with the school and those particular teachers. And we really kind of work with them in all facets of their burgeoning careers. So this is something that we're very interested in. It's a little bit late in this year to set it up for next year, but there may be a school that drops out. And if so, then we might be able to actually kind of grab that spot. So I'm working with Ramapo to see if we can make that happen. But if not, we can queue this up for 26, 27. And I think this will be a great resource and a great pipeline for future teachers in the area. So an exciting development. So a lot more to come.
Yeah. And would these be student teachers is assigned to a teacher in a classroom, but I understand supervision would be.
Yes. And we'd have somebody in our district who functions as the district coordinator for this program, which could be a great opportunity for an aspiring leader within our district as well. So there's developmental, possibilities on both sides here, which is really fascinating. So it's really exciting. So we're going to be talking more with Ramapo over the next few months and the year. And last but not least, we've made a ton of progress, I think, in our professional development on K-5 ELA, but we would be here till midnight. So I'm going to save some of those updates for the next curriculum committee, and then you'll be hearing more about that later. But we're making some really great progress.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And on the agenda tonight, I believe is BRISC, right?
Yes.
And I don't know if you want to.
I can give you a 30-second summary. BRISC is an AI program. We piloted it earlier this year, starting at the high school, but then we expanded the pilot through down to the elementary level. BRISC is the Swiss Army knife of one of these AI tools. It can help. You can create grading rubrics with it. You can create lesson plans. It's a personal academic assistant for educators, and it's just a really great tool. And in a trial, kind of an informal trial at Ridgewood High School, we had some English teachers grading essays with BRISC and some without. And the teachers who set up a rubric in Brisk and then would get the targeted feedback, and they would still have to elect whether or not they want to take this feedback. So it does not replace the human grader. But in this trial, the average solely human graded essay took about 12 minutes. With the assist from Brisk, it took about 6 minutes per essay. So cutting your grading time by 50%. Brisk doesn't get tired. It can still find the comma splice 80 essays in. And so it's a really great support for our teachers. So we're really excited to roll this out for next year.
Great. Perfect. All right, so anything else? No? Okay. We will go to consent items, regular and routine. Attendance at conferences. I move attendance at conference. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions on it? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Administration, and on this, we have, the two, we have an approval of first reading of a revised policy 511, and also, some resolutions on Vision 2030 mission and vision statements, and, the support, a resolution in support of the Vision 2030 goals and action plans. May I have a second?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I just want to add before I move on. I agree with, I, I think at some point I would like to discuss and consider changing it from, I know this is hallowed ground I'm treading on, but tradition of excellence, changing it to pursuit of excellence. I actually really like that, looking forward. So it's something, I don't know if we need to officially do it, but something to think about maybe for the next meeting.
Something to really think about if Mary and I both are agreeing on that.
Exactly. Are there any pigs flying up there? No, it's okay.
No, yeah, I mean, we actually have that in our mission statement, so you're really talking about that being the motto.
Like it's
Yeah.
on the high school, right?
Right,
So, yeah, another capital project there.
right.
Mhm.
Mhm. No, pursuit of excellence makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yes. So, so we'll have to just figure that out with the administrative team and see how you want to move forward on that. Yeah.
Being a newbie, I don't know if this is the appropriate time, but I wanted to thank the League of Women Voters that Mary and I are both members of. They came to Ridgewood High School on the 24th and conducted a voters registration drive. I've been helping them in other schools. I wasn't able to make it that day, but this is in support of the state law that of the report that you have to, and I forget how many students they were able to sign up while they were there. 17-year-olds can register, but they can't vote. But once they turn 18, they get a letter in the mail and say, welcome. But I want to thank the League of Women Voters for helping us meet this requirement. I'm very proud of that organization.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was okay? I didn't know if this.
Yeah, no, that was
Oh, okay.
because we just voted on it and stuff,
Okay,
so. That's great. Perfect. Okay, moving on then, it's a curriculum and instruction. I move curriculum instruction.
Yes, and I'm really excited about this new brisk teaching program. So yes.
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 Yes. Okay, we have human resources and we did already honor our retirees. You mentioned the ones who could not come tonight. Talked about our director of facilities and Ridge principal. We have some revisions of job descriptions. I don't know if there are any questions. And of course, we have our teacher recognition honorees listed. This went through a committee, probably chaired by Jamie, I'm assuming, right? With parents and staff members. These teachers are nominated by parents, by could be students, and then their peers, their colleagues. So we're thrilled for them, and we will be honoring them formally on June the 3rd at 7 o'clock at BF, and the public is welcome to celebrate it. It's always wonderful as we recognize the good work that happens in our schools by our teachers. We couldn't do it without them. That is for sure.
Ms. Brogan, I just had one edit that I needed to add.
Sure.
So under human resources, 8, which is resignations for the purpose of retirement. I did reference Dr. Matthews' retirement, but it was brought to my attention that she actually has logged 4 years of service to the district, not 3.
Oh, okay.
So Mr. Matthews, if you could just reflect that in minutes, please. Yep. Got it.
So I'll move human resources. Would someone like to second it?
I would vote yes. I just wanted to add a note, Dr. Schwartz and Mr. Ross, regarding Dr. Matthews. So about 4 or 5 years ago, some of the parents brought concerns about elementary school ELA program. And at that time, Dr. Gorman actually created this position for ELA supervisor at elementary school level. And Dr. Matthews has done a lot of work to advance that. And so I'm just slightly worried with her retirement and Mr. Friedman's retirement also. So, well, when both of them were working together on this program, I know there has been transition with Mr. Ross. So you probably got some of that knowledge already. So now you have that knowledge that you have to move forward with and make sure that all of the work that they had done, both of them, you capture all of that before she leaves and then continue with that. So that way there's no disruption or no restart, right? So any work that both of them did has to continue because that's a big impact on the community.
Absolutely. It's really vital that we find someone who is an experienced, instructional leader, someone who has a deep knowledge of these evidence-based practices that we've really been embracing and studying through our work with Dr. Molly Ness. So that's going to be a big part of the process in our search. So yes, absolutely. We have the ball and we're not going to drop it.
Yes, thank you so much. So yes.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Brogan,
Yes.
pass.
Now on to finance.
Ms. Finance.
Would I like
Okay.
a second?
Okay, move second by Ms. Brogan. Okay, Mr. Donnie?
Did somebody second?
I guess I did. I second.
Yes, I have Ms. Brogan second,
Okay.
moved by Mr. Mahmood. Roll call, Mr. Donnie?
Oh, I just need to read in the donations. Project graduation 24, a range between $5,000 to $7,000, a gift in kind of renovation to the first floor tower entrance at Ridgewood High School. Somerville HSA and Dad Night, $5,000, a gift in kind renovation to the Teachers Lounge at Somerville Elementary School. The Ridgewood Education Foundation, $2,000 to be used to pay for the speaker Maria Lee Chin for the Ridgewood High School Junior Classical League. Somerville Children's Theater, $182.28, gift in kind of a camcorder to be used at Somerville's Children's Theater. Lauren Case, $10,000, a gift in kind of a grand piano for BF Middle School. Katie Devlin, $4,000, a gift in kind for a Glow Forge Plus laser engraver for the STEAM program at BF Middle School. And ERDI Partners Incorporated for $500 to be used at the discretion of the superintendent to enhance programs within the Ridgewood Public Schools. We thank all of the generous donors.
Roll call.
I just have one question on
Oh,
that.
sorry.
Is the ERDI Partners Inc., are they any sort of vendor to us? Why would they be
No,
making a donation?
ERDI is the Education Research and Development Institute. They're a group that I'm a member of. It's kind of a joint partnership group between different vendors and superintendents nationally. So it's one of the primary ways where I get my professional development by participating with other superintendents. We give feedback to vendors, and in turn, they make a nominal donation to the district as a show of respect. But then the professional development that I get through that service also doesn't cost the district anything. It's a nice arrangement.
Thank you.
Was that the only question?
Roll call. Mr. Donnie?
So I'm going to abstain from the entire finance vote. And I have two data requests for any subsequent meeting, maybe next meeting or the meeting after. One is from the finance perspective for the before and after care program. So Mr. Matthews, in our contract with the current vendor, I think we had a profit sharing clause. So there's a minimum that we expect from them every year, and then there's a profit sharing. So if at some point you can just give a board an update for last 3-4 years, have they been paying us profit sharing or have they been paying us the minimum? And how are we validating that? That what is their revenue versus what are we getting as the rental payment, right? So if you can, it may take time, so whatever, next meeting or the meeting after. And the other one for Mr. Ross. So when this vendor was picked, they were picked based on the quality of curriculum that they were going to provide, not based on the cost that they were going to charge our residents. And at the last year's renewal, some resident had raised question that are they providing those computer education and other things that they committed in their RFP. So we have had multiple changes since then. So if you have time and if you can just validate that from their original RFP from 3 years ago, because we have been just continuing that, right? That same contract. So are they still providing all of these things that they had committed to us as part of the RFP? And is that the reality on the ground? Which most likely should be, but we should be cross-checking because that was the primary reason to pick them.
I'll research that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So I just want to double check with the alphabets. You want 3 years of data?
Yeah, 3 or 4, but since we have been with them.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you.
And Mr. Matthews, just to confirm, my understanding on the Alphabest extension is that the profit sharing model will not change and the rates, the parents would not change as well. Is that correct?
That is correct. I met with them last week someday. That was marching what you guys gave me out of finance was to work out a deal where there was no increase to the parents and profit sharing would either increase or stay the same, but I kept it the same. So that was the agreement. They sent me back the contract last week. I have the contract. And I was going to execute the contract, send it back. I'll have a copy for you guys at the next finance meeting.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not like thinking of any wrongdoings here or any errors. I'm just asking to cross-check because there have been 2 or 3 changes in business office and in the curriculum office both. So we just want to make sure that the original bid, we are sticking to those requirements.
Understood. Any more questions?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, Ms. Handy,
Yes.
Mr. McCalley,
Yes.
Mr. Mahmood,
I think Mr. Donnie, you already abstained?
yes,
He's not voting on this.
Yes, for me.
yes, and Ms. Brogan.
Yes.
We have 4 yes, 1 abstention.
The next is a resolution and motions not included in the consent agenda. There are 2 items. One is the budget approval that we have discussed. And there is a resolution that I will read into the minutes on a residency.
Moving the,
So, why
budget.
don't we take the budget first, and then I will read the resolution on the residency and we'll vote on that.
So moved by Ms.
Mr.
Brogan,
Yeah, Mr. Matthew, before you go there, I'm sorry. Before you go there, I just want to make one shout out on the previous item. So the custodial supply contract that we just voted on, where I abstain, in 24-25, we spent $391,000 on buying the custodial supplies ad hoc. So Mr. Matthews is changing that to a fixed vendor, which will be a predictable amount, and that is 268,000. So the difference from last year to this year, from $391,000 to $268,000. So I just wanted to give a big shout out there.
Yep.
Agreed.
Say I agree again, because I was actually thinking about that. So I don't know, it must be a very special night. Thank you.
thank you. Oh, moved by Madam President, is there a second? I'm going to find, second by Mr. Mahmood. Okay, the roll call is Mr. Donnie,
Yes.
Mrs. Handy,
Yes.
Mr. McCalley,
Yes.
Mr. Mahmood,
Yes.
Ms. Brogan,
Yes.
5-0.
All right, on resolution and, be it resolved in the matter of a residency of student number 911-969 and student number 911-982, the Ridgewood Board of Education finds that same are not domiciled in the Ridgewood Public School District. Be it further resolved that the students listed above are therefore not entitled to a free and appropriate public education in the Ridgewood Public School District. Be it further resolved that the Ridgewood Board of Education directs the board secretary, board attorney, superintendent of schools, and anyone he may deem appropriate to act as his designee to effectuate the obligations of the Ridgewood Board of Education under the laws of the state of New Jersey, including but not limited to remove of the above listed students from the Ridgewood Public School District and the calculation of appropriate tuition. I move this resolution forward.
I second.
Moved by Ms. Brogan, second by Mr. Mahmood. Roll call, Mr. Donnie. Ms. Handy,
Yes.
Mr. McCalley,
Yes.
Mr. Mahmood,
Yes.
Ms. Brogan,
Yes.
pass 5-0.
Approval of bills, Mary Lou.
So I think, I have reviewed these bills as listed here from March 17th through April the 4th. And I move for the approval of the same.
Right. And I second.
Second by Ms. Brogan. Hearing no questions, Mr. Donnie.
Yeah.
Ms. Handy,
Yes.
Mr. McCalley,
Yes.
Mr. Mahmood,
Yes.
Ms. Brogan,
Yes.
pass 5-0.
Board member announcements. Did you?
I was going to recognize the achievements of the Ridgewood students of the Cambodia Club that ran a very, very successful Who's Got Talent night at GW. For the students of BF and GW had an opportunity to volunteer and showcase their talent, from dancing and singing and playing the guitar as well as violin. It was a wonderful evening, and an opportunity for parents and teachers and students, and also they collected some donations. And then they didn't just stop there. They pulled that off. They went on Sunday for our 4th annual Cambodia New Year celebration. And this year there was over 60 students and family members there. There were dances and games celebrating the New Year for the Cambodian New Year. In addition, we have a Cambodian family in Ridgewood that I've come to know over the last couple of years. I think they're a Travell family, if I'm not mistaken, and they have led the talking about the traditions. And this year we had a special guest, a woman came up from DC just to share in the celebration. And it was just amazing to see the leadership of our Ridgewood High School students. There must have been 10 high school students there, middle school students, and the long-term commitment that these students have made to make the world a better place. And it brought the Cambodians to tears to see that in this village of Ridgewood, so much love and empathy for a country that so many of them have not had the opportunity to visit. So I was busting with pride, and I'm so happy to see that now. It's great. Thank you.
I just wanted to reflect on some of the things that have happened this month in the village. And one, of course, is the West Side Band Concert. Our student performers did a wonderful job at West Side, and it's really such an enjoyable 2 hours of wonderful music. There'll be a choral, a chorus and orchestra concert at West Side. I think it might be next week. So watch your calendars for that. There was the Holocaust Remembrance Service last week, and you know, it's in its 30th year in Ridgewood having this service. And certainly I haven't been to all of them, but to see at one point seeing the Holocaust survivors light the candles, then their children, and now their grandchildren. It's a very moving experience and a wonderful remembrance, and so proud of our community that provides these opportunities to really reflect on the world, and the really, when we look at Martin Luther King celebration, I think that's in its 35th year, might be longer than that. Holocaust remembrance. There are many. There's the Thanksgiving interfaith program. So there's many traditions. And I think it is a pursuit of excellence for our community when we look at those things. We had at the community center, we had a group of musicians from GW and students, George Rockingham Project. I think it's Rockingham. Is it
Yes,
Rockingham? Rockington. Thank you. And that was fun. Parents, grandparents, their peers all came to listen, and it was great. And then on Sunday, we had the Daffodil Festival, Earth Day, with, I think there must have been at least 30 vendors there, maybe more. And even on a cold, windy day, it was really well attended, and lots of good information for the community. So I'm just reflecting on some of the great things that happen on a regular basis in Ridgewood. Board committee reports. I know that our agenda really took into account the committee meeting. Anything anyone needs to report at this point?
I checked our finance committee April 9th. It was all included in the agenda today.
Policy, I know you've done that. Yeah.
Agenda.
JPEG? I mean, sorry.
CPAC, right?
CPAC.
Excuse me. Short report tonight. Where's my page? Basically just the access, is this Wednesday night at Raymond's this time. Next CPAG coffee chat, and the last one of the year is May 13th. And the next and final CPAG meeting is June 10th. That's all I have.
Curriculum we discussed, and facilities, we're still in discussion on some of those items. Yeah.
Can I add about fields?
Oh, please. Yeah.
I spoke with Ms. Winograd from the village, and the meeting for the fields meeting in May will be broadcast. They are going to have facilities so that it will be hybrid, in person, as well as people can, I don't know how she's going to do it, but she's been working to facilitate it to be a hybrid meeting so people can to see and be a part of it without having to be there in person. So I know that was a concern at the last meeting, but it's all been worked out, and I'm happy to report.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other? Okay, discussion item? Oh,
I think I saw the minutes that you guys are still working on the numbers for sports teams to provide an answer to our ice hockey team. Do we know a tentative timeline by when we will be able to provide some information to them?
We were pretty close, but I'll let Dr. Shores comment on that.
Yeah, we've come a long way with this analysis. It's actually, we really worked hard to try to create a fair comparison regarding the relative cost of facilities, annualizing it. One of the things we realized is if we did, in fact, the team, Keith Cook and Maureen, did a lot of great work in building this out, the spreadsheet, figuring out a way to annualize the cost over sometimes like a 20-year period for different sports. The problem is that they kind of did a raw annualization based on program, which doesn't take into account program size, and was skewing the estimated cost for some programs. So for example, like girls flag football was coming out with a very high per pupil rate because we were incorporating them as an equal share of like the fields, when on a per pupil basis, it's not just the same equal share. So we want to tighten that part up. That I'm actually asking Mr. Bowman to kind of work through with his spreadsheets, because we're starting to get to a level of kind of advanced formulas to figure that out. And the athletics office has done a great job. So that's a slated item. I expect that this is going to be very useful, and we can start actually drawing conclusions as a board at our next meeting. Did you have access to that? Was that in the agenda?
It was in the minutes, so the number was analyzed, but there was maybe on a different tab, but I did not see how that analyzed number was reached. So I was wondering if we are taking into account the annual, like we are going for a bid for fields maintenance, or are we taking into the field maintenance into account, that contract that we'll be paying a third party vendor? We will have a fields, a director or a manager level position just to manage our fields. So whatever percent of time they are spending, so all the maintenance and custodial time that we are spending on that every year, for 8 to 10 years or whatever time. I'm not like, don't quote me on that, but 2008 to 2019, so about 10 years changing the turf. So those type of fixed expenses, or if we take the BF project and if we redo that field, so any of those fixed capital projects, we do tennis court every 3 years or 6 years, right? So the fixed capital expenses plus all the custodial expenses that we are spending money on. So are we taking all of that into account when we came up with that analyzed number? So I just wanted to look at the background, that how did we come to that analyzed number for those fields?
Yeah, so there is some backup data in there if you go through the other tabs.
Okay.
But in the meantime, like, I'm trying to end this, maybe conclude it.
Right.
So if there's any other related costs you think should be included too, you can help us by, I just jotted.
Yeah, I think mainly I'm just thinking
this.
about the custodial or maintenance cost every year plus one-time capital costs,
Yeah, so what we've been talking, yeah.
right?
There are estimates involved, but I'll make
Okay.
sure that the estimates are inclusive of these items that you brought up here.
Right, because when we take their ice hockey's rental, so rental is offsetted by capital and maintenance both.
Yeah, yeah, and to be clear, like, we definitely included the cost of even like complete resurfacing of the tennis courts. That was pretty straightforward because it's tennis and it's boys and girls tennis, and
right,
yeah, that's pretty much it. So we annualized that out. That was relatively clean, and there's not a lot that we do otherwise for them. But like to your point, of grass field, if we have staff members who are maintaining the grass field, the cost of the employee, or at least a portion of the cost should be factored. I can't answer whether that's included or not right now.
Thank you.
Anything else? Acceptance of minutes, March 17th, regular, March 17th, executive, March 24th, regular. I move acceptance of minutes. May I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Other business? I think we had any. So we'll move to comments from the public. There is no one here in the audience. Remotely, is there anyone? Not seeing any hands. Close public comment. And make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in, all in favor?
I,
Wait 5 more minutes, but no.
Okay. Our next meeting is May 19th. So, see, who's closest?